Good afternoon, everyone. I am Cadet Pope, and I am Mr. ROTC for the 2020-2021 academic school year. Now I would like to welcome the Mighty Bear Battalion to the stage. Next, we will have the invocation by Cadet Lorfields.
Please join me to receive the invocation. Lord, we honor our veterans who made great sacrifices on our behalf. Worthy men and women who answered the call or volunteered to serve and protect their country. On this day, bless them for their unselfish service to preserve our civil liberties, our safety, and the heritage of our country. As we look to our future, let us reverence this day to unite, to remember and pray, to show our appreciation for so many who have fought and died on our behalf. We ask that you bless them and provide all their needs. Above all, we pray that you give them peace when trauma comes to trouble them. Hear our prayer of thanks for our veterans. Amen.
Can everyone please rise for the national anthem and the presentation of the colors? You can now be seated. Now I would like to welcome President Jenkins of Coppin State University to the stage.
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? It's a pleasure to be here this evening. And I want to take an opportunity to thank everyone for coming out and joining us today on the beautiful campus of Coppin State University for this year's 2020 Veterans Day program. There are a few stakeholders and folks that I want to thank before I say a few remarks. First, to Mr. and Miss ROTC, our MCs for today's program. Thank you for your leadership. To Mr. Richard Collins and Mrs. Dawn Collins, thank you for being here with us today. It is an honor and a privilege to have you on our campus. I want to congratulate our honorees, Major Lauren Barty and Specialist Kaylin Perez. I also want to acknowledge and thank Major Malika Morgan and Mr. Kyle Legs. I also want to thank the Division of Enrollment Management and Student Affairs, as well as our College of Science and Education, and all the members of the Coppin State University family who are tuning in virtually and who have joined us here today, as well as the President's Cabinet and members of the administration leadership team. The First Lady could not be with us today. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency, and that required her to be where she is today. Ashley and Alicia, my two little commanders-in-chief, are here, but remained in the office as they had to finish up some schoolwork. So that's the top priority. It would be very difficult for me as dad to give them a class excuse when I'm in higher education. And as I look around, I want to thank all of our cadets. You are leaders in training. You are the next wave of defenders of this nation. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your representation of Coppin. I want to thank you for your representation of Morgan and the dedication and commitment that you have to our armed forces. You know, today we pause to honor our veterans, those who honored our nation with this highest form of service. The men and women who once wore the uniform and those who wear it today of our Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, and Navy. You know, few will truly understand what drives them and what it is like to be a part of the greatest military on the planet. What has always made America great, what has always made us exceptional, are the patriots, the men and women who generation after generation dedicate themselves to building a nation that is stronger, freer, and more just. We owe them our appreciation, our admiration, and our freedom. We salute the men and women of our armed forces because they are among the very best that our nation has produced. There's no question that our military is the greatest on the planet. It is the single most diverse organization in the nation. They represent every corner of our country, all coming together for one common purpose. They are committed to meeting every mission. They are united, and they support one another. Our nation remains strong in large part because of our veterans. And it is no surprise that Veterans Day follows our national presidential elections. It is and should serve as a reminder that free speech and our democracy is what our military fought for and protects every single day. It is through our military men and women that we can find strength in our common creed. Their actions should serve as an example for all of us on how to put aside our differences, how to look beyond race, gender, politics, and religion, and forge unity through our diversity. To Mr. and Mrs. Collins, the Coppin family admires your strength and your courage because you were unwilling to let hatred rob your son of his legacy, because you were willing to pick up the torch of justice. There are young men and women across this state and soon across this nation who, in the name of Lieutenant Richard W. Collins III, will reach not only their educational dreams, but their military dreams. And for that, we thank you. To all who have served this country, on behalf of the First Family and the entire Eagle Nation, on this day and every day, we thank you. Thank you, enjoy the program, and go Coppin.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Cadet Evans. I am Miss ROTC for the 2020-2021 academic school year. I will be introducing Major Lauren Barty. Lauren Rachel Barty is a proud Coppin State alumnus who began her military career in 1998, enlisting in the United States Army to serve as a military police corps with the Maryland Army National Guard, 290th MP Co. After a few years of enlisted service, she enrolled into Morgan Coppin State ROTC program, where she was commissioned as an Adjutant General Corps officer in 2007. Second Lieutenant Barty will begin her commissioned service as a Human Resource Officer with JFHQ of the Maryland Army National Guard. She later served as a platoon leader and an executive officer with the 1229th Transportation. First Lieutenant Barty was selected to command the 1229th Transportation Company in November 2010. In 2011, Captain Barty would later serve as a 224th Sustainment Brigade S1. Major Barty currently works as the National Guard Bureau in Arlington, Virginia, as the Office of the Chief of Staff, AXO Ops Officer. She served 2 tours in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Her education includes the following: Bachelor of Science from Coppin State University and Master of Arts in Transportation and Logistics Management from American Military University. Her civilian and military affiliations include the National Guard Association of Maryland, the National Chapter of ROCS, MOAA, and Adjutant General Corps Association. She is also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Some of Major Barty's military awards include the Army Superior Unit, 3 Meritorious Service Medals, 5 Army Commendation Medals, Joint Service Achievement Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal, Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, NCO Professional Development Ribbon, Army Service Ribbon, Army Reserve Component Overseas Training, State Service Achievement Medal, and the Maryland Outstanding Unit Ribbon. Major Barty is a native Baltimorean, the daughter of Maurice and Rhonda Barty, and proud mother of 3 children, Darius, Tamaya, and Timothy. Now welcoming to the stage, Major Barty.
Thank you for that warm introduction. For 22 years, that's a lot, and that's the first time that I've heard it read out, so that's a little bit surprising to me. Okay, so Ms. Harris told me I had 5 minutes. I timed myself. It's 5 minutes and 48 seconds, so just bear with me this morning. First, I wanted to extend a warm welcome and thank you to the Collins family. I enjoyed our conversation earlier. I learned a lot. To the president of this great Coppin State University, thank you for having me, which is my alma mater, and to the Bear Battalion, which I gained my commission. I would like to first salute my brother and sisters in arms across our services for their sacrifice to our nation and their community. Serving our country and my local community for the last 22 years as a member of the Army National Guard has been a life-changing experience. I have never laughed nor prayed as much in the past 22 years. I've been exposed to leaders and peers who have taken the time to shape and mold me into the eternal student that stands before you today. I'm a natural divergent thinker. So if you don't know what that is, it's a phrase or a test that they give us in CGSC to find out which type of learner or thinker you are. I didn't know it was a phrase until I went to school. For the millennials in the room, and for those who haven't seen the movie, it's something called Divergent. It's called Divergent. So basically a Divergent is 5 factions. It's the Dauntless, which are the brave, Amity, which is the kind, Erudite, which is the intelligent, Abnegation, the selfless, and Candor, which is honor. Well, a Divergent doesn't fit in one box. Rather, they're a combination of several factions. My CGSC history instructor, Dr. Hospodor, basically pulled me aside after we got our test results and said, Lauren, if you don't remember anything at this school, let me stop. I was one of 16 students and the only black female in that class. She told me if I don't remember anything else, that wars were fought and won by divergent thinkers. That has stuck with me since I left the school. I want you all to understand my beginning. So I'm going to be professional and tact, but I'm going to give you a little bit of Lauren Rachel's personality. I was born and raised 14 blocks from here in the 2200 block of Linden and Whitelock. I'm a city girl. I was kind, but my environment wasn't. If anybody knows Tupac, he has a song, I ain't no killer, but don't push me, so you understand. I had the perfect balance of brains and hood tendencies, heavy on the hood tendencies. I carry all of that with me to basic training where I graduated Bravo Company 795, Bravo Company 795 MPs. I was only one black female of 51 females to graduate. I can remember getting in trouble with both basic and AIT because the minute that I got off the bus, you know, they asked you, why you here? Why you holding the rucksack with all of your gear from all of your gear once you come in? You know, why are you here? So I told my drill sergeant, I said, hey, I'm only here to make sure that I be a better understanding and a better officer for my troops. So for the new cadets, it wasn't soldiers then. Back in '98, we still called everybody troops. Well, that didn't go over too well as you might think, so I used to have to push every day, or anytime one of my drill sergeants saw me, he just used to make me push. My first unit, which was 290th MP Company, that molded me. We had 4 black females in the entire company. My squad, which was 3rd Squad of 3rd Platoon, chose me, and I have to do quotes, chose me, because they used to choose you if they wanted you in your squad back then. They chose my 133-pound self because 1, I wasn't a pushover, and 2, they had never heard a private tell the first sergeant that I wasn't going to pick up a Mark 19. 1, because chivalry ain't dead, and that's how I said it, and 2, my mom always told me I didn't have any kids yet, so don't lift up anything too heavy of your body weight. Just blame Rhonda J. I had to push that time too. But let's just say in the 9 years that I was assigned to 290th MP Company, I never lifted any heavy equipment, so they got the point. Entering Coppin State, this campus and all of its history and its glory exposed me to the wisdom, poise, and people of color with which this great institution was founded. For those of you that do not know, that Coppin State was originally founded as a teacher's college. And at the time, I wanted to be a special education teacher following in the footsteps of my mother. Seeking out ROTC to meet my goal as an officer was not easy. Please understand, I was still rough around the edges. Well, I still am just a little bit, but we're working on that. And for some crazy reason, I would always basically drag my friends along. My best friend, which is here today, who is part of the Persian Angel, Tears Waving, she and I were determined to be a part of ROTC. This was before they had a van to take you back to Morgan for PT and classes. We would have to catch a bus or get a ride, and it was heavy on catching the bus, the MTA system, Old Dark 30 in the morning to be there and for class. And for a majority of the Morgan State cadets to think that I went to Morgan, but I had to remind them, and I did my entire time there, that I was from Coppin State University. And I would say the great Coppin State all the time. But Major Morgan is shaking her head because she's one of my classmates, and she knows I did it all the time. You knew which school I was from. I want you all, cadets, to understand that representation matters. I've been in 22 years. I had never served under a black officer or officer of color until 2009. I came in 1998. And to this day, I've still never served under a woman of color at all. While at Coppin, September 11th happened. I was in a science building, walked out. I was cute. I had on pink capris and a black top and some heels, and I saw the second plane crash. Now, I was a member of the 290th MP Company. So from 2001 to 2004, I was only home for 6 months during that time period. My desire and determination to become an officer grew stronger with each deployment. My goal was to be the best 5'9" chocolate that any officer or senior leader saw and understood, and my peers sought out for my expertise, my understanding, and my understanding of the regulation, and just to know if you have a phone a friend. So cadets, once you become commissioned, a phone a friend is essential, because that's somebody, if you don't know the regs and you have your friends that know regulations or know the law, that's a really good friend to have, because you can always phone them and they're up and abreast to the newest regs, any changes, they know it. Phone a friends are always good to have. I wanted to make sure that my senior leaders, as I said, my senior leaders, my peers sort out my expertise, but also that junior officers and enlisted personnel inspired to emulate me, because we didn't have representation. I'm going to close because I know we still have a scholarship to award, but I want you all to walk away with some takeaways. 1, representation matters. 2, cadets, you never know who is watching you. Always go the extra mile. 3, walk to your own beat. I understand that we're in the military and we're Army strong and we're one force, but walk to your own beat. 4, make sure that your presence enters the room before you do. 5, understand that failure is a necessity in life. I am a failure, but I also got up, brushed myself off, and I kept moving forward. So keep moving forward. 6, never ever let your rank that's on your shoulders or on your chest or the office that you work for speak for your character. I am Major Lauren Rachel Bartee. I am not Major Bartee, the AXO for the Chief of Staff Office at the National Guard Bureau. I am Major Lauren Rachel Bartee, and I make sure that everybody knows that I'm the only Bartee you're probably going to meet, so remember the name. 7, and this is my final closing, walk into every situation with integrity. I'm going to say it again. Walk into every situation with integrity and good character. This will open doors for you that you don't even know exist. Every job that I've gotten in the 22 years is because I've had a conversation with somebody that at that time could do nothing for me, but they saw my character, they saw my integrity, they saw that I was an honest person. And down the line, it didn't matter if it was a year or 5 years later, they were like, hey, Bartee, I remember you. I remember you did right, and I remember I asked you to do something, and you went the extra mile for me. Hey, I got a job for you. That's how I'm currently in a job that I have now. I had a colonel, I didn't even know him. We talked a couple of times, and the opening came up. He said, Lauren, oh, let me add this to it. He said, Lauren, We have an opening in the XO, but I'm not eligible for Lieutenant Colonel until next year. So he said, but you can be the AXO and the operations officer. I said, oh, sir, okay, is this a voluntold? He was like, well, I just want you to think about it. In military speak, if somebody mentions it, that means, yes, you're going to take it. You don't have an option. I was there 2 days later. It's supposed to have been temporary, but it's permanent. I've been there since prior to COVID starting and been working my tail off since I got there. He said to me, and he's retired now, he said, Lauren, he said, I picked you for the job because you didn't know, you knew I was assistant chief of staff. You would have to brief me, but you went the extra mile when I asked you for something. It was somebody else's responsibility, but I called you to see, hey, I don't understand where this is coming from, this particular office, which is an OPR, Office of Primary Responsibility. Can you find out for me? Okay, sir, no problem. I went the extra mile, found out the information, and just sent everything back to him to an email. And he said, Lauren, you gave me more than what I asked. You didn't look at my rank to try to do more. You looked at me as a person, and you did exceedingly well. He was like, so for that, I want to reward you and have you here. He said, this position for the general officers that you will be exposed to in the 54 states and territories, he said, they're going to remember your name because your name is not common. He said, they're going to remember you because you are a 5'9" chocolate. My general officers know that, so that's the running joke. You are a 5'9" chocolate, and your personality and your integrity walks in the door before you do. That's going to carry you places, and I wanted to make sure that I set you up before I retired. I love that man. Understand, the people that may help you out may not look like you, but you still need to be in the room because we don't have representation. Be that person. If you're getting commission in the Bear Battalion, don't do your 8 years and get out. Go further. Understand, after active duty, there is National Guard and it is a Title X program. You can go further. Work with your local communities. Get into your community organization so that they can see the representation, and then we could fill these seats with more cadets. That's all I have, guys. Thank you.
If I could ask Dr. Jenkins to join me on the stage, please. We have presentations. Major Barty, could you please stand? Certificate of Appreciation on Veterans Day. Major Lauren Barty, in appreciation of your tireless service to support our United States Armed Forces, your dedication to our country and its military is commendable and honorable addition to the fight for freedom throughout the world. Thanks for your service. And it's signed by Dr. Jenkins. It is tradition that we honor one alum and also a current student that is also serving. And today that student is Specialist Kaylin Perez. Specialist Kaylin Perez enlisted into the Army in July 2017, her junior year in high school. Specialist Perez attended basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, followed by advanced individual training in Fort Lee, Virginia, becoming a unit supply specialist. Specialist Perez is currently assigned to the 200th Military Police Command as a supply clerk. Specialist Perez has recently received the Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal Ribbon and the Army Achievement Medal. Specialist Perez is currently enrolled in ROTC at Coppin State University with the Bear Battalion, and with a future goal of becoming an officer in the Nurses Corps while serving on active duty. Specialist Perez is a nursing major while currently serving as Coppin's Miss Sophomore 2020-2021. She's a member of Alpha Lambda Delta National Honor Society, the Honors College, TikTok, campus rep, and a Coppin State cheerleader. Certificate of Appreciation on Veterans Day. Specialist Kaylin Perez, an appreciation of your tireless service to support our United States Armed Forces. Your dedication to our country and its military is commendable and an honorable addition to the fight for freedom throughout the world. Thank you for your service, and it's signed by Dr. Jenkins. Thank you. Don't go for our photo ops. This is also for her. Mm-hmm. And to commemorate this date and our honorees, in our Vet Center, we have this plaque that hangs, and it's the Coppin State University Soaring Eagles Veterans Day Honor. And I'm going to let the president hold on to that. And our 2020 honorees' names are there on a plate listed under our past honorees.
Now, Cadet Huffenagel will come to the stage to introduce the Collins family.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be reading Richard W. Collins III's biography. Second Lieutenant Richard W. Collins III was born in Norfolk, Virginia on December 12, 1993. He was the firstborn child of Don and Richard W. Collins Jr. He was raised by his parents to be a compassionate believer and follower of Jesus Christ. Richard possessed a kind and inquisitive spirit, and he loved taking advantage of opportunities to meet with people and to find interesting ways to enjoy their company. He was athletic, energetic, and eager to find new adventures to explore and test himself in his abilities. Growing up, the majority of his education primarily took place while attending Christian schools, with the exception of 2 years spent in the public school system for the 3rd and 4th grade. The importance of education and being a good student was something that was instilled in him at an early age. He was enrolled and completed the 4-week college of William and Mary Summer Youth Advancement Program between his 3rd and 4th grade year of school. This program was designed to broaden the academic experience of young people to work collaboratively with peer groups and as a member of a project team. In high school during the summer between his junior and senior year, Richard had an opportunity to experience firsthand a small sample of military life. He applied for and was accepted into the U.S. Coast Guard Academy AIM, Academy Introduction Mission Program. This 1-week summer orientation program was designed exclusively for students entering their student year of high school to provide a realistic service academy experience. This experience undoubtedly influenced his later decision to become a member of the Bowie State University ROTC Bulldog Battalion, where he found his calling and purpose. Following this experience, the stage was set for Richard to explore and pursue a military career by applying for and being awarded an ROTC scholarship. He excelled in his challenge as a cadet and was recognized as a top performer academically and athletically. During the summer before his senior year in college, he completed his goal of completing airborne qualification as a paratrooper and earned the prestigious honor of wearing the airborne emblem on his uniform. This experience provided him with a new sense of confidence to persevere through difficult challenges. The proudest moment of Richard in our lives was watching him stand on the stage of his alma mater, raise his right hand, and accept the oath of commissioning as the newly minted second lieutenant in the United States Army. He was excited about where his future would lead him, and so to where we as his beaming and loving parents. And that is all for his biography. Thank you. And now I will be introducing the military of Professor of Science, Major Morgan. Thank you.
Thank you, Cadet Hufnagel. Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly a pleasure for us to be here today for this ceremony. I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. and Mrs. Collins about a month or so ago virtually, and then we shared a few conversations through Zoom as we discussed their son's legacy in his scholarship that was at Morgan State University. They're like new parents to me, as me and Ms. Collins had our mama moment outside. And I tell you, it's an honor to know that his legacy is going to ring on. What you don't know about the Collins Scholarship is that because Morgan State University not only hosts Coppin State University and the Bear Battalion, we receive majority of the funds from the scholarship. So it's not something that should be taken lightly. Though we know that Lieutenant Collins went to Bowie, his legacy will ring out through every ROTC program in the state of Maryland and soon to be many other states. Right now, we had a total of 108 cadets apply for the Richard Collins Scholarship this year. Thus far, we've had 51 awarded and 15 from Coppin State University, many of which are standing behind you today. And I will personally tell you that many cadets came to me and they said if it were not for the Richard Collins Scholarship, they would not be able to continue their matriculation at Morgan State University or Coppin State University. And it's because of your efforts that you didn't let this tragedy die in vain. You said indeed, as Dr. Jenkins said, your legacy will be remembered forever. And everyone standing behind you, you can see as a son and daughter who will allow Lieutenant Collins' legacy to live on, from his scholarship that they were endowed with, and every other student from Morgan State University and Coppin State University who will receive the scholarship for years to come. So thank you for your fight. Thank you for not giving up an effort and then stopping in your grief. You took that same motivation and grief and turned it into something that will be lasting for life, not only in the state of Maryland, but I cannot wait to see this percolate through every HBCU and ROTC program in our nation. So thank you for your efforts. His legacy will never be forgotten. And we will go on to find out why the other half did not receive the scholarship, because we will not let that fight stop here. We are appreciative of the 51 cadets who did receive the scholarship, but we want every single student who applies to receive the scholarship as due the $1 million that was awarded. So we will not give up. We're not done just yet. This is only the beginning. And I do want to give you an opportunity to come up and speak if you'd like to on behalf of your son.
Good evening, Dr. Jenkins, and to the wonderful cadets. And thank you, Major Morgan. These things is very emotional for me. But know this, all the women out here can attest to what I say. I have a mother's heart, and I will never, ever stop fighting for my son's legacy. Dr. Jenkins, you said, yes, Richard's name is known for every HBCU in the state of Maryland. But believe you me, my goal is to make it national. And to the cadets and Army individuals, let no one ever call you a coward for the oath that you have taken to protect this great nation. It takes something to be a democracy, and I am proud of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here today, and I want to thank all those responsible, starting with President Jenkins for inviting us here to this outstanding event, and also Major Morgan for taking the time with us to make sure that we had a place here to help celebrate these fine young cadets. I just want to say briefly that we're in a very peculiar period in our nation's history, but even in that, it's exciting. And I want to say that the concept of this democracy in this republic is a very fragile form of government. But one thing I've always felt, and I've said this recently, is that the highest order of citizenship, in my opinion, lies in those who are willing to make the sacrifice to serve in our armed forces.
Absolutely.
So I say that to say, for all the young people here and all of those who are actively serving today and those that have served in the past, that here's one thing you can be sure of, that each of these young people that are standing here today and out in the audience today, they are truly the jewels in the crown of democracy. So know that the service that you're giving now, even while you're in training and once you're on active duty, it's something that this nation will never be able to fully repay you for. Absolutely. Those sacrifices that you make, those things that you do when no one is looking, those things that cause you to endure hardships, understanding fully that if you don't do it, these are the things that could be faced by those that you love. So I just want to say we honor you here today. We thank you, and we're so very proud of you. And I'll just end by saying, go Bear Battalion, go Coppin State, go Morgan State. Thank you.
At this time, we will have Mr. and Ms. ROTC present you with a small token of appreciation on behalf of the Bear Battalion. Even though we know Richard Collins Jr. went to Bowie, we are going to make him an honorary member of the Bear Battalion and make sure you are endowed with what we call Morgan and Coppin swag. Okay. And we won't tell anyone if you want to take pictures in our paraphernalia and post it. That's perfectly fine with us. Both Cadet Pope and Cadet Evans are also recipients of the Richard Collins Scholarship. Thank you.
And we wanted to also acknowledge Mr. Kyle Leggs. He's Lieutenant Colonel retired. He is the first Coppin cadet to commission in the program in 1984. Mr. Leggs. brief remarks.
Well, thank you, Ms. Harris. You really put me on the spot. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is truly an honor to be here to listen to the presentation for one of our fallen soldiers. Although he was a cadet at the time, it's nothing more meaningful sometimes to be able to recognize a soldier for his or her sacrifice to this country, to the ROTC programs throughout the country. So my condolences to you, and I'm so proud of your son's legacy and what it means to be able to carry that on. So just real briefly, again, just an honor to be here. This is the 5th year. I want to say that I've participated in Coppen's Veterans Ceremony event, and it goes back 30 plus years for me. In 1982, there was no ROTC on campus here at Coppen. And so when I joined ROTC, it was just really a blessing to be a part of the beginning of, what you see happening today. So many cadets that are involved in the program, getting commissioned. Major Barty, I'm so proud to see officers that come along and have successful careers, and what it means for the Coppin State University College. Because the HBCU is oftentimes the only means by which a lot of us can have an opportunity to excel. I know a lot of my colleagues at Morgan, the Bear Battalion. It's a 70-year history plus of officers being commissioned out of Morgan State University. And the history speaks for itself. The number of general officers that have been commissioned out of Morgan, and all of the fine officers that followed suit, as well as a lot of the officers that have come out of Coppin. I'm starting to lose count of the number of officers that have been commissioned out of Coppin State University, but it's probably approaching 100, if not more. So when we add to the plaque that Ms. Harris had, you'll be able to see the history in front of you as that plaque is posted on campus. So I don't want to belabor too much of the today's event, but I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to say a few words, and it's really an honor just to be here each and every Veterans Day to salute all the veterans and as well as the cadets here. So thank you.
Now we will have a drill performance by the National Society of Persian Angels Incorporated, Company J85. We will now have remarks by the Professor of Military Science from Morgan State University and Coppin State University, Major Morgan.
COVID is real, y'all. As we close at 16:24, Ms. Harris, we're going to be on time. I have the closing remarks, and I promised my Master Sergeant I would adhere to the Army guidance of the 3 Bs: be brief, be brilliant, be gone. So in order to make sure I stay on track, I just want to say thank you truly for everyone who came out today to be a part of our Veterans Day celebration. Thank you to the Collins family, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Legs, Major Barty. She was my upperclassman. She used to get on me, y'all. Also my soror. Thank you, Lieutenant Perez, our future. Thank you to our backdrop of the Mighty Bear Battalion, these young cadets who have stood for over 60 minutes now without moving, okay? Thank you to the cadets who will lead our future. Veterans Day is not just about saying thank you for your service. It's about remembering our fallen, and we got to do that today with Second Lieutenant Richard Collins. And we also get to thank those young cadets who charge forward to a future unknown, but do it so willingly. So thank you to the cadets who participated today, to our drill team, to our color guard, to Mr. and Mrs. ROTC, to Ms. Harris, and behind the scenes, our cadre, Master Sergeant Klein and Captain Nelson. This day wouldn't have been possible without all of them. And to all of our viewers on Facebook, Instagram, and to the Bear Battalion watching during their lab today on Zoom, whore. That's part of your grade. So as I'm being brilliant, brief, and I'll be gone, I'll just say this. Watch out, because there's a lot of glass on the floor. And we have a whole new beginning as we charge forward. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins, for letting us host this ceremony today at the beautiful campus of Coppin State University. We look forward to the events next year, and we'll close out with the Army song. Please be safe, and make sure you understand COVID is real. Drive safe as you get home. The Army song, please. Thank you.